Hello everyone, welcome to the Female Fight Archive. In this video we'll be talking about cave girls, a subject that never fails to captivate civilized gentlemen like you. I'm your host, John Sterling. I'm sure 90% of people who see the title of this video assume it's a breakdown of that scene from the 1966 movie. Of course, let's start by meeting your expectations. But first, let me give you a very brief overview of how we got to that iconic scene. Tomac, the son of the chieftain of the savage rock tribe, is banished from the tribe for a certain reason. After a series of events, he makes it to the coast, where he is rescued by the peaceful Shell tribe. Loana, a beautiful woman from the Shell tribe, falls in love with Tomac at first sight. Tomac ends up leaving the Shell tribe, but Loana, who loves him, goes with him. Tomac takes Loana back to the large cave that serves as the rock tribe base. Upon seeing Tomac return, a woman from the rock tribe named Nupandi, who had long been in love with him, rushes to his side. I suspect that what she is holding at this moment is an object with symbolic significance, much like the chieftain's token that appeared at the beginning of the film. In other words, her actions likely signify that she wants Tomac to rule this tribe and take her as his wife. The kind-hearted Loana reaches out to Nupandi, whose gifts to Tomac have effectively been ignored. This implicitly conveys that, as Tomac's wife, she is accepting them on his behalf. As far as Nupandi was concerned, Loana's attitude was completely unacceptable. In this shot, it's clear that she sees Loana as her biggest rival. Nupandi cries out, trying to shake off the grasp of her hated rival. The battle among the women for the position of wife to the next tribe chief has begun. Now the camera cuts to a shot from above, capturing the interior of the tribe's cave. The interior is remarkably tidy, which seems a bit unnatural for a cave dwelling, but I suppose they prioritized clarity here. Shots from this angle are inserted between the battles between the women to show that the conflict is something shared by the entire tribe. It was, of course, Nupandi who launched the attack with murderous intent. This shot shows Loana desperately trying to block whatever Nupandi is brandishing. The object Nupandi is holding gradually comes into view on the screen. It looks like a sharp dinosaur spine. It slowly looms closer to Loana's eyes. It's a tense and well-executed scene. A shot of Nupandi from below. She's filled with murderous intent. A shot of Loana from above, desperately fighting back. The shots cut back and forth between them. Overall, it can be said that this fight scene is not merely a scuffle between two women, but is dynamically staged with extensive use of props and the surrounding space. And I'd like to praise Ms. Beswick's performance. Although the lines aren't particularly meaningful, her acting is very clear and easy to follow. With her attempting to kill her rival to claim Tomac's wife, and Loana fighting out of necessity to protect herself, this portrayal clearly highlights the contrast between the heroine and the villain. Facing Nupandi, who is using a flaming branch as a weapon, Loana picks up a thorn-like object and holds it in her hand to defend herself. It is the moment she resolves to fight with everything she's got. Nupandi knocks Loana's only weapon out of her hands and attacks her with a flaming branch. Loana desperately tries to fend it off. It's a variation on the opening skirmish. On the spot, Loana picked up the fur rug that had been spread out on the ground and began swinging it around. It turned out to be the perfect weapon for this kind of fight. Loana knocked Nupandi down with a takedown, secured the so-called mount position, and finally subdued her. Then the former chief, Tomac's father, threw a large rock near Loana. A man from the tribe handed the rock to Luana and gestured for her to smash it against Nupandi's face. This must be the custom of the rock tribe. It is likely also a wise measure to ensure that no seeds of discord remain within the tribe. But Luana, a member of the normally peaceful Shell tribe, cannot bring herself to kill the person who was just trying to kill her. As I explained earlier, I believe From Russia with Love is the ultimate catfight scene, packed with Terence Young's signature style. However, in terms of the film's fight choreography and direction, I consider this scene to be one of the finest of the 1960s. Oh, I have to go lead the hunt for our tribe's dinner. I'll be right back.
Since John seems to be busy hunting mammoths, I'll go ahead and recommend a movie to everyone. "1 Million BC" is a 1940 film starring Victor Mature. For reasons I'll explain later, this is the only source where I can find footage of moving dinosaurs and mammoths, so I'm showing the opening credits. When you hear the term cave girls, you probably think almost instinctively of Raquel Welch in her fur bikini from the movie 1 Million Years BC. Of course, I do too, so you know that this movie is a remake of the 1940 film, right? Actually, I didn't know that. That's because when they were released in Japan, they had different Japanese titles. I watched the original on TV and the remake in the theatre, and while I thought, these movies are pretty similar, it never occurred to me that it was a remake. As a boy, I had only two interests when it came to movies. 1, female fight scenes. 2, dinosaurs, special effects. And although the two films shared the same title, they differed significantly in these two respects. First of all, the fur bikini catfight scene that everyone loves doesn't appear in the 1940 film. Also, while the dinosaur scenes in the 1966 film use stop-motion animation by Harryhausen, who left a great mark on film history, the dinosaurs in the 1940 film are played by live alligators and lizards. Interestingly, there are exceptions to this. The 1966 film features a single scene with a live iguana, and the 1940 film uses a costume in some parts. To be honest, at least when it comes to actresses, I prefer Carol Landis from the 1940 film to Raquel Welch. She is the one who is more suited to being a peace-loving woman of the Shell tribe.
Oh, you just fancy them, don't you? Plain and simple.
Now, I mentioned that there are no catfight scenes in the 1940 film, so let's take a look at what happened when Tumak took Luana back to the Rock Tribe's cave. As you can see, it feels like Loana is winning over the rock tribe with her natural kindness. While this approach fits the character played by Carol Landis and isn't bad in itself, I still wish Loana and Napondi would battle it out for the handsome Tumac, don't you? With the help of AI, I added a catfight scene that wasn't in the 1940 film. What did you think? To be honest, I prefer the 1940 film not just for the actress, but as a movie in its own right over the 1966 remake. That's because the 1940 film is romantic. In fact, it's classified as a romance film. This is only natural given that it starred Victor Mature, who was very popular with women at the time, opposite the delicate and beautiful actress Carol Landis. Unfortunately, the 1966 film has almost no romantic elements.
Got that wild look in her eye, underneath the summer sky. She's my cave girl, oh yeah, my cave girl, my sweet cave girl, the only one in my world. Yeah, she's my cave girl, oh yeah, my cave girl, my sweet cave girl. She's the only one for me.
Now, let's talk about cave girls from the perspective of film history. The film currently playing is Man's Genesis, a 1912 film by D.W. Griffith, often referred to as the father of cinema. Although it's a short film of about 10 minutes, I believe it's one of the earliest examples featuring prehistoric women. This movie features a cute cave girl named Lily White. The story follows a struggle between a strong man and a weak man over a woman. But the weak man invents the stone axe, the first weapon in human history, and defeats the strong man. Perhaps influenced by Griffith, a boom in caveman films seems to have taken off in the 1910s. Many famous comedians, including Chaplin, Laurel and Hardy and Buster Keaton, made films featuring cavemen. Let's have the early cave girls do the fighting. This is Prehistoric Women from 1950. I remember spending over $100 to import a VHS tape of this movie to Japan, but I was shocked by how terrible the picture quality was.
But Arba violently disagrees. And so the fight is on.
I hate to say this to the filmmakers, but watching this scene really drives home just how great the fight scenes in the 1966 movie were.
Looks like dinner's over, John. I don't know if this exploitation film influenced the decision to remake it in 1966, but the remake of 1 Million BC was a huge hit, just like the 1940 film, and catapulted Raquel Welch to global stardom. Hammer Films may have gotten a little carried away, but the following year they released a film called Prehistoric Women. This film was made using sets and costumes recycled from 1 million BC. This scene, which everyone loves, was filmed at Elstree Studios, but it was actually shot on a set modelled after this cave. By the way, the following year, this scene from a movie, which I'm not sure everyone likes, was also filmed at this studio. Let's get back to the movie. The opening scene shows a British explorer who, upon finding himself lost in another world, is suddenly pounced on by a blonde woman wearing a fur bikini. In that world, women with black hair rule over women with blonde hair. The blonde women appear to be wearing costumes borrowed from the Shell tribe. The women with black hair seem to be wearing slightly modified versions of the Rock tribe's costumes. And at the top of this black-haired clan stands Queen Kali, played by Martine Beswick. Since she's in the film, there's naturally a catfight scene, but I won't go into detail about that here. The reason is that, even though it reuses sets and costumes, strictly speaking, this film belongs to a different genre than the world a million years ago. It's not a film about cave girls. In fact, it's not even a film about prehistoric women. It's a terrible movie, but Beswick's performance is the only saving grace. Hammer Films defined films featuring blonde women in fur bikinis as the Cave Girl series and released the third installment in 1970. This film was made with a budget 4 times that of its predecessor, Prehistoric Women, which was produced on a shoestring budget. So, right at the beginning of the movie, there's this catfight scene that feels a bit tacked on. John, what do you think of that?
To be honest, I think it just slows down the movie's pace, so it would have been better not to include it in the first place.
That's harsh. I also think the highlight of this movie isn't the blonde girl in the fur bikini, but the special effects for the dinosaurs, the kind that earned it an Academy Award nomination. Another strength of this film is that, of the 4 films in the Cave Girl series, it has the most well-crafted science fiction setting. The opening narration concludes with the following: a time when there was as yet no moon. The screen then cuts to the final scene, a shot depicting the moment the moon was brought into this world. This is known as the capture theory, one of the hypotheses regarding the origin of the moon, Earth's satellite, which posits that a small celestial body from elsewhere was captured by Earth's gravity and became the moon. Toward the end of the film, we see how this wandering celestial body triggers a massive tsunami with its immense tidal forces as it settles into its current orbit. Of course, the protagonist and the heroine survive this catastrophic disaster and become the Adam and Eve of the new world. The treatment for this film was written by none other than J.G. Ballard, This great British author is also famous for having written numerous outstanding science fiction novels. If you're a fan of dinosaur movies or sci-fi films, this is a must-see. Just don't expect any catfight scenes. By the way, this Jurassic Park banner is a tribute to that film. Released in 1971, this is the final film in Hammer Films' Cave Girl series. The director is Don Chaffee, the same director as the 1966 film. This is just my guess, but since this is the director's second caveman movie, perhaps he was determined to make a film that was even more realistic and intense. Both of these are catfight scenes featuring the cave girls inside a cave.
It's like a completely different movie.
That's a different movie. There are two catfight scenes featuring the cave girls in this movie. The first one takes place during a scene where a tribe is traveling through the desert in search of a new home. It's a beautiful shot, but the scene feels a bit forced. The second one is the cave scene. The atmosphere and lighting of the set are quite different. Also, the cave girls are all topless instead of wearing fur bikinis. The director didn't actually say anything like what's shown in the comic, but this movie doesn't feature any dinosaurs at all, just like the films from 1966 and 1970. The budgets for both the 1966 and 1971 films were £420,000. Taking inflation into account, the 1971 film's budget would be about £320,000, a 24% decrease. However, monster movies can be made on any budget, no matter how small. So, the decision not to include dinosaurs was likely a conscious choice by the production team. So, we've been talking about Cave Girls movies, focusing on the 4 films produced by Hammer Films. What did you think? Let us know your favourite Cave Girls movie in the comments or via the poll.
Right. You watched the whole thing, so you might as well subscribe, innit? Don't forget, yeah?
Count the hits until we get the call. Practiced every single way to fall. Someday we'll trade the